Hey guys, welcome back to 2-Minute Coder. Today we're doing Leetcode problem 981, which is time-based key value store. So just take a moment to pause the video and read the question. Alright, so first thing we're going to do, you can see here that this is actually a little bit different to the data structures that we've been doing. This is a class data structure that we have to make. So we're going to be using a hash map, which is going to be of key string and value of list of pair string integer. Let's call this map. All right, and you can see here that this is the way that our object is going to be instantiated. So we don't instantiate it over here, we have to instantiate it in this class. All right, so map is equal to new hash map. Right, so setting our values here is actually pretty straightforward. You can see in the constraints that it says that key and value are only going to consist of lowercase English and digits letters, and all timestamps are going to be strictly increasing. This is very important to keep in mind because when we get to this function, we'll be running a binary search, and that's only possible if our timestamps are strictly increasing. Right, so first let's check that does this map contain the key? Right, if it does not, then we have to put in a new key and a new array list. This array list is where our pairs are going to go. All right, and once that's done, we can get on the basis of this key and then add a new pair, which is going to be value and timestamp. Right. In this key, let's also run this same check. Does our map contain this key? If it does not, then we know we can just return an empty string. And if it does contain the key, then we have to do map.get on the basis of this key. And the return type of this is going to be a list of pairs of string and integer. Let's just call it list. All right. And on this list, which is going to contain, it's basically going to be this stuff, right? So the string value and its timestamp, right? I guess what we can do here is a binary search. So we'll do a return search of this list and timestamp. In this list, we have to find the string value which has a integer or timestamp that is closest to our timestamp that we're passing in. Right, so let's create a helper function which will return a string. Let's call it search, and it's going to input this data type, right, and a int timestamp. So for our binary search, let's instantiate some variables. So start variable, our end variable, which is going to be size -1, and then while start is less than end, we are going to calculate a midpoint, which is going to be biased towards the right side. So start plus end minus start plus 1 divided by 2. And now we have to check the values at mid, right? So if list.get mid.get value, right? Here we are going into our list, right? At an index of mid and getting the value. So this is going to be the value, the timestamp, right? So if this timestamp is less than or equal to the timestamp that we've passed in, we are going to check to see if there are more recent timestamps, right? So timestamps that are more have a higher value, or like more in the future, right? So we'll move our start index to mid, else we're going to move our end index to mid -1. Once we exit out of this while loop, we know we have found the timestamp closest to our inputted timestamp, right? Now we have to check if this timestamp get value is less than or equal to the timestamp we've inputted. If this is the case, then we can return this .get start.get key, right? Because this key is where we're storing the actual string that we're looking for, right? However, if this condition does not evaluate to true, meaning that the timestamp that we found in our list after doing the binary search is after the timestamp that we have passed into this function, meaning that the value that we find here is actually further in the future than what we're actually looking for, right? So then in that case it's invalid and we just return null. So let's run this. All right, accepted. And yeah, great. So that was Leetcode problem 981, time-based key value store. Hope you guys enjoyed and understood, and subscribe for more.